This week, America's largest RV show, TM, is just around the corner. We're going to talk about RV shows and if RV shows really matter anymore. What's the big deal about this one? Why should you care about it? We're going to talk about a response we got from Love's Truck Stops about their Love's RV stops and tornado shelter preparedness. We talked about that on a few episodes ago and a whole lot more. This is RV Miles. Chances are you've seen them on the road. That's because Blue Ox designs and manufactures the best towing products in the industry. Just look around. You'll find them on highways and campgrounds and anywhere you find people traveling in the great outdoors. From award-winning tow bars and base plates to a full line of weight distribution hitches, adjustable ball mounts, and now they have fifth wheel hitches too. With Blue Ox, towing doesn't have to be a drag. Visit blueox.com for more information. Welcome to episode number 377 of RV Miles. I'm Jason.
And I'm Abby. And we are two RVers who, along with our three boys, have been crisscrossing all over North America on one epic road trip since 2016. Here at RV Miles, we talk all things RV and outdoors, from industry news to travel destinations, our national parks, and so much more.
Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a full-length episode again. We've been doing these sort of mini episodes, which some of you really loved that they were shorter. But we like the time to be able to talk about stuff. We do a lot of short content, so we like to have some place where we can really spend some time talking about our opinions on things and what we see. And that's going to change a little bit about what happens on this show going forward.
Yeah, this is about the only time Jason and I get to talk uninterrupted. So buckle up, everybody. We got a lot to say this week. Actually, when we went back, so we always take your feedback. We appreciate it. So we're going to talk a little bit here before we get into the main topic of today, which is going to be Hershey, but we got a few things to talk about before that. And we listened to your feedback. And one of the things that we have realized that's been missing from RV Miles for a while is the talk aspect of this talk podcast. And that is talking about news or things that are topical and happening in this industry and around our public lands. And Jason has been having all the fun over on the RV Miles YouTube channel, sharing the news week after week, because I know it's so much fun. I know I see the look in your eye when you come home. But we don't ever get a chance to actually discuss those things. And we have felt for a really long time, we kept feeling like it was regurgitating.
Yeah. And we used to a long time ago. Long time ago.
Yeah, back when we were more self-assured. Somehow we have lost that over the years. And we realized that we don't get an opportunity to just talk to you all about news that's happening. And I certainly don't, because I don't have a presence really over a camera-facing presence over there on that channel. I'm, behind the scenes pulling the strings. But did I say that out loud? That was supposed to be an internal monologue. So we want to bring a little bit of that back into RV Miles. And so we want to make it really clear to everyone, when you click in here, you might be coming and you might see they're talking about Hershey or they're talking about fall camping. That's going to kind of be the main focus. But we're going to spend a little bit of time before and after talking about other things that are happening in the RV industry and in the public land space. So this is a smorgasbord of a show. You come here and you're getting a charcuterie.
The challenge is, since YouTube has become such a big part of podcasting, and the YouTube algorithm is kind of pushes things around a bit. And a lot of podcasters have been sort of going to do more single topic things because they want the algorithm to pick it up to show new people. And we've played that game for a while and we found it to be mixed results. It works, but
we're not happy.
Well,
we don't enjoy it as much.
What's the point of just making a longer version of what we do on the other channel? We definitely want to be able to have conversations about topics. But if you're interested in whatever is in the title and thumbnail on YouTube and you're like, why aren't they talking about this? Just skip ahead.
Just go down to the description. Look, when this was a real eye-opener for us during our mini podcast break.
Yeah.
When Rhett and Link of Good Mythical Morning, one of the largest YouTube channels out there, dedicate an entire podcast to talking about how they play and have to play the YouTube algorithm
Yeah.
for their content in order for their content to make back the amount of money that they spend on said content. Don't think that this is just happening at like the micro YouTube level or
Yeah.
the,
It's all over.
it is when you hear podcasters of that level pulling in the kind of millions of views that their videos pull in, and they are living the hard life like the rest of us down here. You do like
They just do it with 100 employees
they,
that they have to
look,
feed, right?
They just do it with a few more zeros behind their budget.
But reality, like one of the
But it's
great
the-
things about what we do is that, especially with the podcast, we don't have to play that game because we're funded by our great sponsors.
Yep.
The amount of money that we make off of YouTube ad revenue on the podcast, it's like $30 a month. It's nothing worth.
Absolutely. So we want to get back to old school RV Miles. We really enjoyed those mini podcasts and taking the break it allowed us to take because we could record multiple at once.
Yeah.
But we missed doing Fresh Tank, Black Tank. That's always one of our favorite segments to do because it's just a chance for us to just kind of laugh with one another and talk about the silly things that are going on in the world. We miss talking about the news, something we haven't really been doing consistently for a long time. And we miss that interaction that came with all of you. We love being able, we have such a core audio audience. And we know that you all are listening to us out on your walks, out on your drives, on your travel days, and that you appreciate those slightly longer episodes. Now, do I want to sit here and hit the 1 hour and 30-minute marker? No, I do not. I continue to advocate with Jason. The sweet
1
spot
hour
for
limit.
me. 55 minutes. We're going to it's under 60. I believe in us every week. We're off to an awful start already, but I am very excited to get back to this long form podcast discussion, which has always been the heart of everything at RV Miles. It's where we cut our teeth in this industry. And it was nice to have those 5 episodes off and do those mini podcasts. We will for sure be doing those again.
It was a
in the
great way
future.
to do our breaks because in
Mhm.
the past we've always had break weeks, and it's a great way to do that. It really works. So,
I have a feeling we will revisit that again in January because of Tampa and everything that happens in January, the kind of the kickoff to that particular RV season. But we're going to talk about another RV show today. But first, we have a couple of news pieces. You have something you want to talk to me about that I don't know about.
Yeah, so there wasn't an RV and camping news this week, and not a ton going on in that industry because we had Labor Day, so we took that week off, and now I'm working on next week's news. But there is a story that's been going around for a while. This is something I've been following a bit, and I covered a bit on a National Parks News Roundup a while ago. Have you heard about this speedrunner who broke the speed record at Grand Teton National Park, running up to the highest peak from the parking lot and back? And this is a thing that's common that people do. They work on racing this record.
Okay.
So this guy did this. His name is Michelino Sinceri, and he broke the record running from the parking lot up the trail. It's a public trail. He's not like scrambling up the side or whatever. And eventually some stuff started to surface about whether he may have cheated. And there's these whole arguments about what he did and whether it constitutes cheating. What he did was he cut some switchbacks. So, a very steep trail is going to have switchbacks that go back and forth and back and forth. And oftentimes when you're on those trails, you'll see like where people have walked through in between them or climbed down through them. And there's like a little trail that's worn in between them.
Yeah, where they cheated.
And what he did was on this run, he cut some of those switchbacks. Now, so that got him in some hot water with some of the folks in the running community, whether this was a record or not. But then it got him in some hot water with the National Park Service for going off trail. And not just going off trail. They have a specific rule at Grand Teton and in other places about cutting switchbacks because it erodes the land more. It not only does it erode the area in between there, it actually erodes the physical actual trail you're supposed to be on itself because you're breaking down the edges of that trail. Switchbacks are really hard for parks to maintain. So there's a law against this. And the National Park Service charged him in federal court for, I don't know what the actual charge is, but it's a misdemeanor, for cutting a switchback. So this is something that's been going on for the course of this year. And eventually the National Park Service decided, okay, he's learned his lesson. We're not going to proceed with federal charges. The Justice Department overruled them and was like, no, we're going to charge this guy. So it went to court. We've been getting press releases on this on a while. I just didn't know how to cover it. Didn't want to cover it too much, but I did cover when it originally happened. So now he has officially been convicted for cutting a switchback. He's going to face a fine of up to $5,000 or up to 6 months in jail. Of course, it could be, the judge might say $500 fine, you're done. We don't know what it'll be, but his sentencing hearing will happen later. So I wanted to get your initial take on this, because a lot of people have different takes on this.
First, this is dumb. It's dumb in like a whole bunch of ways.
Yeah.
So he shouldn't have cut.
Yeah.
Okay. He broke a law. He broke a rule.
Sure.
Okay. So from did he break the record standpoint? No, he cut.
Yeah.
I don't, that's for the running community to decide. I am not a part of the running community. So that is for them to decide. Okay. The fact that it's because he is well known, and it is because this is known about him that he cut these trails and whatever. This is why he's getting fined. He's being made an example of, right?
Yeah, it's a social media influencer sort of being made an example of. Yeah.
It is silly that this was continued to be pursued. What a waste of, in my opinion, a waste of time and resources, because the National Park Service had felt that he had learned the lesson. I do not doubt he probably lost his sponsor and some other things that went with this.
So the North Face is his sponsor. So the North Face has been sponsoring him for a while. They took their post down congratulating him, but they have, to this point, now this just happened today that he was convicted. To this point, they have stood behind him. I don't know if that will change now that he is convicted of a misdemeanor.
I feel like he didn't cut the trail. Like he didn't, come out there with, some hand tools and create this path. This is clearly a path that has been defined and been there.
Part of the suit was that there is a path that he was on, worn into the ground. It wasn't like so that is something that was there.
Yeah. And so where are the hundreds of other people that went ahead and did this before him? Why aren't all those people in trouble? He just got caught. I mean, he got caught.
Yeah.
And paying the fine, sure. Fine him.
It kind of feels like it should be something that like park rangers should have the authority to give them, whatever the equivalent of a citation, a speeding ticket is.
Give him a fine.
Instead of having to go back there and going to court. And
yeah. He's going to lose the record. Okay. He can try again and stay on trail. He's going to lose the record. He's going to pay a fine. But to make this person potentially go to jail for up to 6 months, the resources of putting this is
that would be why I'll be really interested
to
see what the sentence is. That would be wild if the judge felt like he deserved that high of a sentence.
Give him some community service. Let him go do some trail work.
Yeah,
I would rather than than putting him in jail and spending the money that it costs to house him in jail and the resources for that. How about he gets a fine and he has to go do some community service of X amount of hours, and let's have him go do some of the backlogged maintenance that needs to be done in our national parks.
It would be rare that they would give him actual jail time.
It would, but
happened.
It's this seems like a case where, and we can move on from here, but it seems like a case where anything can happen, because the National Park Service was like, we're out, we're done, we've made our point. And the Department of Justice was like, hold my beer. We're not done yet with this guy. So
But stay on the
it's
trail, folks. They do have the
the
ability
DOG
to
is
make your life very difficult
the
if you
DOJ
don't.
is going to come for you if you do not. All right. So speaking of Grand Teton National Park, we covered our time in that park back on episode 364. We were there back in May of this year. And on that, you had a black tank.
Yeah, it wasn't from our Facebook group. It was from another Facebook group out there that somebody shared a story that I thought was important enough to share. It was about somebody who had stayed at a Love's RV stop. So, Love's truck stops now have these RV stops at a lot of them, which range from just an electrical hookup in a parking spot. Some of them are really like full campgrounds now.
In fact, didn't you just bring them up on the most recent
I did.
RV Miles YouTube
I
video?
just did
You
a
just
video
did?
on discounts for the fall, and they're offering
Yes.
10% off their stays
Ooh.
all through February.
Yeah. So go check that video out if you want to save some money this fall season.
But the story was about how this person and their family was not allowed to enter the truck stop itself during a tornado warning and didn't really have a place to go during the tornado warning. So we talked about that, and we talked about how, some areas campgrounds are required to have tornado shelters. It's not everywhere. It's just this is kind of a county by county thing. These things usually aren't on the state level, but I've seen a lot of that in like Oklahoma, where campgrounds in certain counties are required to have tornado shelters. So we sort of brought that up, and we sort of shared some stories about stuff happening around here where people weren't allowed into businesses during a tornado warning, and we talked about how places where you need to camp should have some sort of, even if it's not their space, some idea of where to send people during incidents like this, right?
Yeah, we had some very strong
Yeah.
thoughts
Yeah.
on it as ones who live in a very tornado focused, happy
Prone.
area. Prone, I guess. So shortly after that, several weeks after that, we received an email from Love's corporate communications manager, Caitlin Jensen, and they reached out to us because they had listened or watched the episode. It had been brought to their attention that we had had some thoughts on what had happened. And they provided us with this statement that now that we're back here with our full episodes, we want to share with all of you. But this is what they had to say. They say, we saw your episode where you read a Facebook comment about Love's in Lubbock not allowing customers to enter the store during a tornado warning. While our facilities aren't designated storm shelters, Love's policy is to allow customers to shelter at its locations during severe weather events. Our leadership team is aware of this claim and is addressing it at the store level.
Good to hear that they're,
Yeah.
they're sort of refocusing on that and making sure that their teams know that, yes, if you are staying in an RV, because we were talking about how it's not just about the people in the RVs, but all the truckers that are staying at a truck stop. I mean, there can be a couple hundred truckers staying overnight at a truck stop. And if there is a tornado, they should be able to go inside.
They have to have somewhere safe to go. And I think, this is a case too. First off, we appreciate them reaching out to us so that we could follow up on this. We could share this with all of you. And I just do think that this shows a willingness to listen, but then also to understand, they are entering into a sphere with these kind of like mini campground overnight stops that is brand new to Love's. This is not, they have not been in the campground industry for, several years or decades or whatever. This is not something that they are, known for. And so I do believe as they become more known for having these places, they're learning a little bit about campground operations beyond just some of the day-to-day, some of the unique things that happen, like being in areas that are tornado prone, and you need to have those people in your campground provided with somewhere to go and to safely go. And if that's your store, then your employees need to unlock the door and let them in.
Yeah. We did a stay at a Love's RV stop one night, and we liked it. It was nice.
Absolutely.
It's pricey. It's a little more than what I think a lot of people would expect.
So I was thinking about that earlier when I knew we were going to talk about this today. And one of the things because that has been kind of a little bit of our complaint too. And I know that it's been a little bit of a complaint from the community in general. And I agree with you. I think this is across the board. Private campgrounds are too expensive. One of the cases for us being willing to pay that, especially on a travel day home now where we live, is, Iowa rest stops used to have all these dump stations,
Yeah.
right? They've gotten rid of all of that. We were just at a rest area in Iowa the other day where the dump station remains, but it's got a big orange cone over it. You cannot use it. This has been a few years now that it's been like this. A place like a Love's that's close to home, easy to get in and out of, not only provides, especially in the summer when it's boiling hot, the ability to use the air conditioning and have those creature comforts that you paid for in your RV. But for us, it allows us to do that last final dump flush, emptying of all the tanks.
Yeah, or if you're heading south in the winter to de-winterize when
Yeah.
you get to one or something. Problem is there's not one near us.
No, but we did that one we did stay at.
Yeah.
We used it for that because our next was just a drive day home.
Yeah.
And we just said, look, everyone's going to have to, go to
I
the bathroom
think,
at a rest area or something. We're not going to use the RV.
Some of them, especially the more expensive ones, they actually have a lot of amenities. And I think that's what's surprised people.
Laundry,
It's like,
dog park.
Maybe we didn't want
Water
to
park.
pay for all those amenities. We were just
Yeah.
hoping for like, okay, we're staying at a truck stop, but it's going to be a little bit nicer parking and we're going to have some hookups and maybe
Yeah.
it's $40 or so.
Again, I don't like paying that price. I really don't like paying how much some of these places are, but that's the case for us that we make for ourselves. When we do something like that, we usually tie it into our last overnight in the RV. And then the next day drive home is just nobody's using the bathroom in the rig.
More in a moment, but first, this episode is sponsored by RVmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding. Get a real mattress for your RV instead of the cheap piece of foam that it came with at RVmattress.com by Brooklyn Bedding. They sell real mattresses in all the odd sizes RVs require, like short kings, Olympic queens, odd bunk sizes, different thicknesses, and more. Their mattresses are toxin-free, made in their factory in Arizona, and shipped to you vacuum-sealed wherever you are. You just unwrap them and let them expand. They have a 120-night sleep trial, free shipping, and a limited lifetime warranty. But the best part is the RV Miles community gets 30% off, the best deal they ever offer, any day of the year with code RVMiles at RVmattress.com/RVMiles. That's RVmattress.com/RVMiles with code RVMiles at checkout for 30% off. Harvest Host is a membership that allows RVers to take a rest from the road and enjoy unlimited overnight stays at over 5,000 unique locations in North America, like breweries, farms, attractions, wineries, and much more. Easily plan and book your next RV trip and enjoy over $1,500 in exclusive member benefits by joining Harvest Hosts. Get 15% off your first year of membership with the code MILES. That's MILES. Go to harvesthost.com to become a Harvest Host member today. Okay, shall we talk about America's largest RV show?
TM. Yes.
It's actually the R with the circle in it.
Our circle.
It is the actual name of the Hershey RV show. It is called America's largest RV show, R with circle, registered trademark.
Just like Tampa is not the Tampa RV show. It is the Florida RV Super Show.
They don't like when you call it Tampa.
Don't call it the Tampa RV Show. It is the Florida RV Super Show. They pound that into us when we get close to press release time and time for the show. So here in Hershey, we wanted to give a little bit. This is going to be our first time going. I'm actually not going. Yep. Jason is, by the time this episode comes out, Jason will have already left the Quad Cities area en route to up to Hershey. But I wanted to kind of learn a little bit more about this show beyond just what we all expect we're going to see there. So this show is produced by the Pennsylvania Recreation Vehicle and Camping Association. This show was originally part of a consumer show that happened in Pennsylvania every year up until 1970 when it broke away and it became its own RV show. So by the 1970s, they felt like, look, we've got enough interest and enough going on in the RV industry. We can be putting on our own show. So in 2005, the PRVCA moved this to this giant center in Hershey, Pennsylvania, which is where it continues to be held to this
And
day.
when we say Hershey, Pennsylvania, we
We
mean
mean
Hershey chocolate.
we do mean Hershey.
It is the show, the giant center where the show takes place is right by Hershey Park. You know,
It-
Hershey has their theme park there.
Is it shaped like a Hershey bar? Because I really want the center to
No.
be shaped
Now
like a
there
Hershey
has
bar,
been talk about
which is just a
moving this
rectangle.
show. That the association has actually bought land away from the giant center and away from town a little bit that they eventually intend to have the show at, because it's real expensive.
Yeah, so they moved over there in 2005, and the show it's 943,000 square feet. And the show in 2005, its first show there, they had 28,000 attendees. I mean, that's quite a hefty number. In 2008, they did rebrand as America's largest RV show, R Circle. In 2017, they welcomed 64,000 people.
So that's
to
interesting
this
because
show.
that was their record year. During this pandemic boom, it was not their record. It was back then in
Unless
2017.
the website has not updated.
That's very
which
possible.
Is highly possible because the last known piece of information on their website is 2017. So it is possible since in 8 years that maybe that number has been broken. But if you think about that, we got on the road in 2016.
Yeah.
2016 was the 100-year anniversary of the National Park Service. 2017 began to see a really strong interest in the outdoors. So it doesn't surprise me if this 64,000 number holds.
Yeah, the RV
from
industry kind of
2017.
had this little mini boom before the big boom in like 16, 17, and then
Yeah.
was starting to retract into 18 and 19 before the pandemic boom
Yeah.
hit. So that does track with the fact that, maybe they just haven't updated the website.
Yeah. And I would think, but I would think if you look into going into
Yeah.
2020, 2021, 2022, it is possible that they did not pull those kind of
We
numbers.
did have a pandemic.
Yes, especially, when we had a pandemic going on. We have a big enclosed space. It is quite possible that they did not. 28,000 is a great number. 64,000 is mind blowing. This event is almost 33 football fields. So I felt that was really appropriate too, to get that little piece of information because football, this is Friday that we're recording this. The football season started last night, which meant mile markers are now playing fantasy football. So good luck to all of our mile marker members who are playing along with Jason and I this year on fantasy football. We had so many people playing. We've got 2 leagues going this year. We have the
And we could
Yellowstone
have
League.
done 3.
Yeah. Yellowstone League and the Badlands League. So we've decided we're going to name all of the leagues after national parks.
Yeah. And this one was after places we've been this year.
Yeah. So that was exciting. So to take it back to the show, 33 football fields of RV stuff.
So
Like,
first of all, is it America's largest RV show?
well, it's registered that way. So
The folks at the Florida RV Super Show would have some disagreements with that.
doesn't this feel like West Side Story
It
with
is
these
a
two?
little bit.
It's like the Sharks and the Jets.
Also, how do you count it? Is it the number of square feet? Is it the number of people attend? Is it the number of RVs that are on display there? There are many ways to look at it. In the end, who cares?
Yeah.
These 2 RV
It's
shows,
big.
the Florida RV Super Show in Tampa in January and the America's largest RV show in Hershey in September, are the 2 biggest RV shows by far. And the reason for that is, well, I don't know what the reason that they ended up growing to that, but these are shows that are sort of manufacturer partnered shows. So the manufacturers have a lot of involvement. Both of the shows are produced by the state's RV Dealership Association, and they're essentially ran by the dealers, right? The dealers are there to sell RVs. That's the whole purpose of an RV show. That's a little different than some of the auto shows that you might go to. If you go to the Chicago Auto Show or something like that, it's mainly the manufacturers putting it on in its entirety with some dealership involvement. But the dealers do the heavy lifting at these two shows. But the manufacturers partner with dealers to be a lot more involved at these two shows because they are prime times and prime audiences to introduce new stuff. This show is an oddity in the world of RV shows because it happens in September. Most RV shows happen in January, February, March. And the reason being that's really the slowest season. And the RV dealers are looking to drum up business.
But you have to figure with this one, this is the biggest draw for our friends in the Northeast.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
this is a little bit easier time of year for people to travel from northeastern states.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to do one in Pennsylvania in January.
No, and it's a little bit easier to get the industry and the media there. We have been invited to shows in the Northeast that do take place in winter. And it is, when we were full time, there's no way.
Yeah.
No way in heck we were going to be able to get up there with the rig. It's a little bit easier now that we're stationary, but it's still a hard time of year to get up there. It's unpredictable with flights. So having a show like this in Pennsylvania in September is so much more accessible. I mean, there are people literally flying in that we know from Utah to go to this event. So, one of the things when you put, Hershey versus Tampa, and then I see you put on here versus open house, I think all three of those are so uniquely different,
Yeah.
even though they seem very similar.
Well, so the reason we haven't gone to Hershey before is we typically go to open house instead. So what's happening right now is we're sort of at the end of the model year changeover. The RV industry has worked for several years to try to standardize when the RV model year changeover is. So now well, these dates have been moved several times, but essentially it's June now, into sort of the 4th of July holiday is supposed to be really when the model year has changed. So we should be all 2026 units right now. And that seems like it couldn't be less important, but it's actually really important for, people wanting to stock parts and all sorts of stuff. So the new stuff that they want to really sell over the course of the many months between now and 2026's busiest selling season, which the busy selling season for RV dealerships is late spring, essentially into early summer. And so the idea is that we've got this event where we've got a captive audience and we can show some of this new stuff. So they do some of that at the Hershey RV show to the public. Stuff that is really ready and done, and it's shipped and ready to sell. Open house is an event that happens in Elkhart, Indiana, where 80% of the RV manufacturers are, where basically they put on a big, not even citywide, it's, many cities, countywide sort of RV show at all the different manufacturers and at the RV and Manufactured Housing Hall of Fame, where they fly in all the dealers and are trying to get dealers to buy the units to put on their lots. Remember, dealers are really the customer for the RV manufacturers. So that event, they show all the new stuff and some new stuff that's not quite done yet without the giant crowds. So generally, I go up to open house so I can cover the model year changeover in a much better environment with more stuff. And I've talked to like some of the manufacturers at open house. They say, well, we wouldn't have brought this to Hershey because we don't want other brands to see it and copy it. Because you have to the individual brands will have you credentialed to get in to see their stuff. Right. So, and when we go, there's stuff that they want us to film. There's stuff that they don't want us to film. And that kind of thing goes on. Where Hershey, it's just, this is open to the public, right? Everybody can see this. So there's a little bit more that happens at open house. So this year, our homecoming rally is the week of open house. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to open house.
So no open house, but there is
But I took
homecoming. So it made sense for you to go to
yeah, I
Hershey.
took the opportunity to be like, okay,
Yeah.
well, this gives me a reason to go to Hershey,
Yeah.
which is a little bit before open house.
And I'm in the middle of starting the school year with our kids. We still homeschool our two youngest. Our oldest has started college, but I'm still homeschooling the other two. So this is the start of our school year. So I generally I could not go to Hershey with you this year. I generally do not go to open house with you. But again, we've got homecoming coming up. And this is a great time to say that those tickets are still available. We have our largest attended homecoming happening this
But
year.
this is really your last chance.
Oh, these tickets are closing. This is probably the last episode where tickets will be available. By the time 378 comes out, I'm going to have to close ticket sales because we've got to start giving numbers to the caterers.
Yeah.
So, but we're really excited about this one. We're going to have a mobile tech on site. We have a lot of brands that we're working with that have got an amazing bunch of giveaways for everyone that's attending. We're going to be doing our rig crawl, which will give all of us an opportunity to see who wants to share the rig that they travel in. We'll have the 37 RV miles there for anyone to come and check out as well. We're doing, it's just, there's so much seminars, and we're going to spend time exploring Amana, and we're going to the Millstream Brewhouse for happy hour. I mean, a cornhole tournament and trivias and a live recording of this podcast. And it's such a great time. And while we're sad to miss open house because of all the things that you just talked about, the consolation prize is that we get to have this amazing event that continues to gather steam every year. And we're so thrilled and would love if you come join us.
And I hope to, be able to run into some folks in Hershey. So
Yes.
I will be on the show floor primarily Wednesday and Thursday. You won't see me over the weekend. I'll be heading back on Friday. I might be there a little bit Friday. No, I won't.
No, you fly out Thursday night. You fly out Thursday night.
So I do hope to see some of you there. Also get to see suppliers there. That's one thing I really don't get to see enough of in at open house. But but there's a big component of RV shows is that there's the suppliers or vendors where people are sharing all sorts of products that are for RVers, and that's a really great experience to be a part of as well.
And that's exciting because our friends at rvmattress.com have a booth
Yeah,
this year, and they
been
find
struggling to get a booth.
Man, talk about just like I have not been able to comprehend why they cannot get a booth at any of these shows. And finally someone's
really
giving them one.
competitive. There are multi-year waiting lists to get
Wild.
booths at these shows. And you might be like, well, then why is there like a leaf guard and windows and
They've been there for 20
and
years.
spas
That's
and
why.
stuff. Well, and also these arenas or fairgrounds where shows happen at, they actually have contracts with those types of vendors. So they're at everything that happens there. And that's why those folks are there. But this show is going to be a little different from Florida. So if you're somebody that's been to some of these shows before, you want to get an idea of which one you should go to, how they're different. Again, haven't been to this one, but Florida, from what I understand, is more of the stuff skews a little more high end. Not to say that there's not going to be high end stuff at either one of them, but skews a little bit more high end, mainly because the people that are in Florida in the winter going to the RV show, a lot of them are RVers looking for their second, third, fourth, fifth RV.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas, in Pennsylvania at the end of the summer, it's a broader range of a crowd. There's more different types of people, more people looking for entry level stuff.
I like that. I wish I could go to see that. And, I want to say one more thing too about suppliers, because I think suppliers often get overlooked at these shows in the value that they bring to these shows. So here on the show, you hear our sponsors and they talk about their brands, and you get to hear us talk about their brands. The supplier shows are so great at these events because these are a lot of people that we work with. Case in point, again, RV Mattress. and you get to go, and oftentimes it's very hard to be able to actually see these products and see them and feel them and touch them and look at them and get more than just like an online idea. And here at these shows, so even if it's just about the RVs, what's so great about the suppliers is that you can actually go and see these products in person. And this is one of the things, about a mattress is that it's always like, I'd really like to lay on
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
beforehand, or I'd really, I did the Power Watchdog or something like that. I'd really like to kind of see what it looks like. How heavy is it? Is it clunky? Things like that. And these shows, I think we often forget how valuable having RV suppliers. And I don't mean to come at you, Dan, and your rain gutters. I understand that your rain gutters are important, or that having blinds for my home is valuable. My neighbors appreciate that. But I do wish that we would kind of start amping up more. There's more and more RV suppliers out there than ever before.
Yeah.
And I do wish that we would start making a little bit more space for them, because I do think the community would really, really like the opportunity to see more of these suppliers in the flesh and be able to
Not
look.
Cutco knives. Oh.
I mean, I do like a good cooking demonstration.
I don't trust a
But
knife that I can't just buy at a store. Like, I have to buy it at a show. I mean, I suppose you can order them online.
I guess. I mean, but again,
I'm sure they're great.
I'm sure they're great knives. I have not used them. We've been using the same knives for many, many years. But I do wish that we would make more space for the suppliers in this industry to be able to come and bring their stuff for us to physically look at and interact with the supplier themselves, because they're amazing people. When you sit there and start talking to some of these people that we work with them because it's not only a great product, but they're just like really cool human beings that
Yeah.
I enjoy talking to via email.
Yes, a lot of these people, they've created one product. They've invented one thing.
Right.
And they've put their entire life into that.
Yeah.
And, some of them are not so great things, but some of them are awesome things.
No, and you think about
are
like
really
Rivet.
useful. And I think there's, we've ran into and made a lot of relationships with suppliers and vendors at some of these shows. And I think that's one of my favorite things to do at an RV show is go through all the vendors, even though I despise having a sales pitch thrown at me.
Well, don't sales pitch us.
That happens at the RVs too, though.
If I'm gonna advocate for you, don't sales pitch. Like, don't be yelling at me across. Like, lady, come smell this perfume. Like they yell at me at the mall, and I'm like, no, don't do that.
One thing we don't see a ton of at Hershey, in the years I've been covering this, and at Open House, is sort of like the prototype stuff, right? That's the kind of stuff that we end up seeing in Florida a lot.
Yeah.
And it's because it's basically not ready for sale. It's just like, we're going to show this is the Thor electric vehicle prototype that we're working on, that sort of thing. They do some of that in Hershey as well, but we tend to see more of that in Florida. And Florida gets some new stuff, some mid-model year announcements as well. But this is really sort of like the big event of the fall in the RV industry, followed up by Open House. And then the RV industry is just really working to restock dealers from their lower inventory from over the summer, hopefully. And through the course of fall and winter, they're sort of in this restock phase. And the dealers are out there figuring out, what kinds of units are we going to put on our lots? And that's still a really big part of this industry. Most RVs are still sold to people who are wandering lots or RV shows, finding the RV they like, instead of doing all this research on YouTube and the internet, which is probably a better way to do it. But
yeah, especially over on the RV Miles YouTube channel. So that's our discussion on Hershey, America's largest RV show, our circle. When Jason returns, of course, we will have kind of a full recap of his time there. And he can kind of talk of some of the things that we thought we were going to see, or we thought, what we talked about today actually came to fruition there. So if you're going, please make sure to find him. He'll be there on Wednesday and Thursday. So now it is time to check the level of our tanks, and that is sponsored by our friends over at Liquefied RV Toilet Treatment, the no BS toilet treatment. It is very, very nice to get back into this segment. So, Jason, what is in your black tank this week?
I'm just going to ruin it for you.
Oh,
This
well.
one's just for you.
So we're going to go ahead and scratch this segment. Thank you
So
all for joining us.
an
RVmiles.com.
invasive species of spider.
Stop it. What is wrong with
Very
you?
large yellow spider.
Whoa, mama. That is a very, very big spider.
It's called the Joro spider, Joro. And it's been in the US for a while, but it's an Asian species from East Asia. It was first detected in Georgia in 2013, and since then it's been observed in most southern states.
Okay, well, it's been great knowing you, South.
It's large. It's got a colorful yellow abdomen with blue stripes, and it's got black and yellow banded legs and a golden hued web.
It has a high metabolism rate, which may allow it to survive in cooler climates. What?
They are not harmful to humans.
Yes, they are.
But they can pose a threat. Actually, they're most harmful to other spiders.
Can I entreat you to please get this off the computer screen? I really
Okay.
don't want to look at this
scroll
spider
and there's going
anymore.
to be more
Thank you.
pictures.
I appreciate you.
So, at Great Smoky Mountains National Park, there's been some increasing spottings of this spider. So it's kind of moving north, particularly in the Cades Cove area, which is one of our favorite places.
Great.
So the park is asking folks to, if you spot a Joro spider in the park, to upload a photo using the iNaturalist app, which we've run into. We've never really used this app, but we've ran into people that do like sort of the animal counting, bird spotting stuff. iNaturalist app is really cool, and there are whole communities of people that are doing this. But if you provide this data, it will help them better understand and manage the species, because it's invasive, and they're trying to protect the natural balance of the area in Great Smoky Mountains National Park. So that's just for you, babe.
Wow. Thanks, hun. I love the way you think of me. That's moving on quickly. I can't now. I'm just gonna be waiting now for this to come to Iowa. I'm just gonna be waiting. It's like, okay. What's in your black tank? Fresh tank. What's in your fresh tank?
So we have owned God knows how many headlamps over the years.
A lot.
A lot. Headlamps, they're great for the kids in the dark at the campground for running around.
Yeah.
And there's such a range of like the cheap stuff to the expensive stuff. And
one has not been better than the other.
I've had a nice headlamp for a long time, but it's definitely shown its age, and it's not really worth having anymore. So I was really excited when BioLite, which is one of our favorite lighting brands, sent us their new range headlamp. I think ours is the range 400. They have 300, 400, and 500.
Yeah, I think we requested the 400 because we were like, the 500 just seems like it's going to blast.
Let me tell you,
this place out.
Headlamps have come a long way. This thing is tiny. First of all, the band is like soft. It used to be not too long ago, if you wanted a headlamp that was as bright as this thing and lasted as long as this thing, you'd have to have the headlamp, and then on the actual band, there would be a battery pack on the back of it.
Yeah.
And like a little coil wire to the front.
Yeah.
So I open up this headlamp, and I actually hadn't taken it out of the box, but I turned it on. And just my time turning it on and looking at it.
Did you look directly at it?
I flipped it over, and like I could not read the instructions for like 10 minutes because I had this big sunspot in my eyes.
Jason.
It's tiny and so incredibly bright.
It's so soft. Like
it's very soft.
It's lovely, and it's sleek, and it's modern, and
many different colors. $60. So,
it's expensive.
This is on the pricier side This is not the disposable thing that you're going to give your kids, but it's got a USB-C fast charging. It's waterproof. It's got a red mode and a white mode and it's flashing, which has been great for me on my bike. So I've been riding my my electric bike down to work,
Yeah, it's just
and
behind the
I
camera
can
over
put
there.
the light on bright enough to have a strobe in the daytime for cars to help see me because I end up having to do a lot of street driving. It is so incredibly bright, but it dims. So you hold the button down and it dims down to a very low. On high, on this ridiculous bright high, the battery will last 6 hours.
It's wild.
And on low, it'll go up to 200. And then there's a reserve mode that holds an hour of charge in the dark. Really, really great. Really cannot recommend enough. Really been happy with this, especially the fact that it's waterproof, light, small, doesn't bug me. I will be using it a lot.
So I want to put a note on our work calendar that I want us to come back in 1 year, and I want to see if we are still using and still loving this headlamp for the price point. Because when I think about the amount of money we've spent over the years
Yeah.
on headlamps at lower price points and how short-lived those were, I'm really curious if the tale of you get what you paid for
Well,
is going to live up
I will say my
with
last good
this.
one was sort of a premium one. It would have been, I mean, it's been a
Yeah.
long time. It probably would have been about $40 when it came out. And it lasted me a long time.
Yeah, so I'd love to just make a little note to ourselves to come back in a year and we should be doing more of that
So
anyway.
this can be seen 90 meters away.
Can you put that in feet, please? I don't
Well,
do
let's see.
I don't do that metrics.
A meter is a little over the beam. It's not that it can be seen. It can be seen further than that, but the beam reaches 90 meters away. A meter is a little over a yard. It's a little more than 3 feet.
Yeah.
So it's
Okay.
So 90 meters.
180
90
feet?
meters is probably
No, 270.
90 meters is a football field, essentially.
Right? Did I do that math right?
It's about 300 feet.
Yeah, about 3. Yeah. I thought the way you worded that, how slow you started it, you were going to be like, it can be seen from space. And I was like, wow, that's impressive.
It's 295
295.276 to be exact.
It can certainly be seen from a long way away. But we love BioLite's products. We've been really happy with everything we've owned. Our fire pit from BioLite.
They own Lucy Lights.
Yeah.
Now they're BioLites now, but they bought the brand Lucy Lights, which we've been talking about for years and we love. So yeah, this we'll come back in a year and see if this is still kicking.
All right, what's in your black tank?
So I'm in my black tank this week because I don't know what my obsession is with buying bulk lemon and limes and then never using.
We throw away so many limes.
You can tell that Jason didn't know that this was going to be my take because of the way he just reacted. But
this is so true.
I have this thing where I'm like,
oh my goodness.
So we have this.
We just don't make enough margaritas.
We can get enough lemon bars, clearly. But we have this sort of like 2-tiered fruit bowl thing that sits in the center of our breakfast bar.
It looks really pretty with all the lemons and limes.
So colorful.
When they don't have mold on them.
I won't get rid of them till the end. But I can't just buy 1 or 2. If a recipe calls for a lime or a lemon, then watch out, Costco, here I come. Like, I have to get, and there's something about like, I might need this. I might have a need for a lemon or a lime, or maybe I want to make like, a cleaning solution and I'm going to use the lemon and I'm going to rub that lemon all over the place and I'm going to clean things with it. And today I was, what I was doing.
No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
God.
Like, not unless the local dirt busters wants to come over and do it for me.
We know it's possible.
I can. Well, sometimes if I think about it, Jason got me this beautiful chopping block. God, can you tell I'm in my 40s? You got me this beautiful chopping block from Williams-Sonoma for my birthday. And so we have a smaller wooden chopping block that, if I think about it, sometimes after I cut up a lemon and I use it, sometimes what I'll do is I'll take that lemon before I throw it away and I will just go all over the top of the chopping block just as a little bit of a disinfectant. It pulls this, we try not to do stinky stuff on the chopping block because I don't want it seeping down into the wood. So, but sometimes I'll do that just to kind of like pull odors up. When I was putting these show notes together, I just so happened to look over at that tower of fruit with the bananas that need to be used and the lemons and the limes sitting there. And I was like, why? What is wrong with me? Why am I always buying lemons and limes and never using them? And I was like, black tank to me, that is ridiculous. I have to figure out, like this weekend, we're having lemon bars this weekend. I don't know what else to do.
I'll like make guacamole and I'll use 2 of them and I'll be, well, 2 down.
2 down. A whole 3-pound bag to go.
We got a lot more to go.
Hopefully I'm not alone in this, but I do have this thing where I love lemons and limes.
I do too.
We just don't cook with them. But I'll tell you what's been great though is that little cilantro we got sitting on the windowsill.
A little cilantro plant instead of buying sprigs of cilantro. Yeah.
That go bad.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Like buying fresh herbs or herbs, and then you end up throwing half of them away.
Yeah. So the plant was like $2 more than a little bundle of cilantro, but it doesn't go bad. It's not more cilantro, but it's not going bad.
It's the little cilantro that could. I love it.
I guess we need a lemon tree and a lime tree.
Yes. We could put them on the deck. Let's do it. Amazing.
They will not survive our climate. I guarantee you. What is it in your fresh tank this week?
So speaking of things to come back and revisits, like I was talking about with the BioLite. So I want to come back and just years and years ago on the podcast, we had, before we were doing Fresh Tank, Black Tank, we had given a gear review of Fresh Tank essentially to this brand called UFOs recovery slides. I think this was 2018, 2019.
We were early on this trend because they got popular.
Boy, did we know before the rest of you did. And that's only because they emailed us. So we had been sent some. We had tried them out. We loved them. They were our go-to.
They're too big to send us to them now.
Now they're like, oh.
Now we just buy them.
You guys, we're done with you. But we wore them forever just as like campsite shoes. We loved them. So I have continued all these years later to still wear these recovery slides. In fact, I just bought a new pair because the ones that I had been wearing, which I bought in 2022, I just decided to no longer make my house shoes because I only wear them and was wearing them in the house, which is why they've lasted so long, and make them my garage slides.
Now that we have a garage,
we have a garage so that I can take trash out and I can run to get the, all that stuff. But I just realized that, here we are like 6-7 years later, and something that we had recommended all those years back, we're still using. And I feel like it's really important that if we can try to remember that we come back and kind of update all of you on these things that we talked about all these years later. Are they still using them? And if they are using them, we're still paying for these things. We may have had them sent to us the first time, but things like these UFOs.
Well, explain what. So
recovery. It's a recovery slide. So essentially it's
for super athletic people
or people like me who have, plantar fasciitis. So what I love about those is it is specifically for that. It is meant to be a recovery slide to help your feet recover from, again, they are touted as for plantar fasciitis. If you
they were
are
originally sort of designed for runners,
long distance runners, anything like that, where you have put your feet through the ringer and then they need to have some recovery time. This is a way, because I love walking barefoot. I've always loved walking barefoot, but truly walking barefoot for long periods of time is not good for your feet. Like it's just, there's a lot of shock impact that happens walking around hardwood floors or on concrete or, the pavement, where there's no shock absorbency between when your foot hits that ground and then as it radiates up and through to your knees and into your hips. And as you get older, for those of you whippersnappers out there listening to this show who haven't hit the 4-0 yet, you will soon understand what we are talking about here.
Just wait,
it's
kiddos. Just like a light switch turns on or off.
Yeah, it turns off, and your body's like, nope, not today, Abby.
I don't know if I told this story on the podcast before. I might have, but I keep getting reminded of it, especially since we just got back home from our vacation. But we're in our new house now, and one day I'm going up the stairs, and I'm like, geez, these stairs are really noisy. I'm surprised this place was only built in 2022. It's really noisy. I was going to check out what's making all that noise. I finally figured it out after many times up and down the stairs. It was like, oh, my knees are making that noise. My knees
Those are my knees.
are making
Maybe
sounds. What?
My darling, I think you need a pair of UFOs. So the ones I'm specifically talking about, they're called the Ooh-Ah is the name of them. You can find them at places like an REI, a Dick's Sporting Goods.
UFOs is spelled OOF.
OS. And
we talked over each other. That made it very confusing.
OOFOS.
There we go.
And they are expensive. So when they sent them to us back in, so when I bought them in 2022 from an REI in Florida, I paid, I believe, $55 for the pair.
It's a lot for a pair of slides.
It's a lot.
But it's like walking on clouds.
My feet were killing me walking around that RV, and I needed something to wear in the house.
It's kind of like for a lot of people, I think it would be a good solution for like you want to have like the kitchen fatigue mats.
Yes.
It's basically like you just have them on your feet instead of mats.
They come in flip-flop size. They come in the slides. Anywho, they now retail for $79.95. My tip to you, and this is what I did because I'm using them for recovery and for wearing around the house. I could give two anythings what color they are. I do not care. Like I'm just wearing them around the house. So I wait until their end of season sale. I waited until they had a sale and I just got, and they're super cute. I just got a pair for $29.95 on sale. And that included shipping. So I paid $30 for these $80 pair of recovery slides because I don't care what size or I don't care what they look like. All I care about is the size. They could be puke green for all I care. I'm just going to be wearing them around my house. So if you are someone like me who would like to have shoes like that for when you're walking around the RV, when you're walking around the campsite, or when you're at home and you're walking around, I highly recommend these. I have been wearing them since they sent them to us back in 2018, 2019. And if you they're having a sale right now. If you just go over there, you can get a pair for more than 50% off. And I think that $30 for this shoe is more than worth it, which is why I wanted to say something on this episode.
This is when we learned too, way back then, is that having a slip-on shoe is an essential piece of RVing gear.
Yeah. And not the $1 flip-flops from Walmart.
No.
Those are great bathhouse shoes.
Yeah.
You need something that you can just slip on and go for when someone is yelling in the bathroom that you need to go open the tank.
Yeah.
Like the gray tank is closed. Get out there and open it right now. It's backing up into my shower. You got to go.
That rocks and the little goat heads and thorns and stuff can poke through. I've been there.
Yeah. I mean, no, these are soft and squishy and those things might get stuck in there, but there's enough padding between you and there's enough padding between you and that it's not going to get you. So anyway, go check them out, and grab a pair on sale if this sounds like something you might need.
That's it for this week's episode of the RV Miles podcast.
Yes, it is. It's so nice to be back with you on these full-length episodes. If you're enjoying what we do here at RV Miles, please head over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star review, or subscribe on the RV Miles podcast YouTube channel. And as a reminder, if you are doing any shopping on Amazon, can we come with you? We like shopping. Just start at amazon.com/shop/RV Miles, and anything you buy, anything in the Amazon sphere, Jeff Bezos is going to kick a little money back to us. Until next week, don't forget tickets for homecoming are still on sale. We would love to see you there. And until then, friends, stay safe, take care of those feet, and keep logging those RV miles, but don't log those spiders. No, log the spiders. You should log the spiders if you see them. They need to know. Just don't tell me if they're coming in.
Bye, everybody.